Hello, it's been a while. I'm excited to do office hours today. It's going to be cut short though because I am going to be participating in a workshop by John Lindquist about cursor. So anyway, I'm excited about that. And that starts in 26 minutes. So I'm going to get through as many questions as I can today, and we'll just see where that lands us. So, hold on, why is my camera not showing up here? Start video. There we go. So yeah, if you've not been here before, there we are. Then yeah, this is, your opportunity to ask me questions about really just about anything, and I will do my best to answer. I give priority to people who are actually in the Zoom call, and then I go to the Discord. And then if we've got any time after that, then we look at the chat. So, Sagar is here. Am I saying your name right?
Yep, that's exactly right.
God, awesome. How can I help you?
Yeah, I think so. One of my questions was already there in the Discord channel, which was about like we were planning to do some sort of testing with like dependency injection using the context from React.
Right.
With yeah, so we just wanted to get your views on that.
Yeah, okay. So this is a while ago back in here. Oh, yeah, here it is. Wait, nope. No, this is... It was a while ago. I remember this.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of want to find it.
Is it possible to search for
Yeah,
me?
here it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
I think this is
yeah,
it. So,
yeah, yeah.
and actually going up a little bit further to the original question, maybe it was, here it is. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so and actually here's the code. So you've got the greeting card. We've got our context for that. Then hello world is using that context. And then the spec is going to render the greeting card with a mocked version of that context value. Whereas here when we're creating that context, we provide the actual value. So this is just a mechanism. So like here's the actual value, here's the mocked value. And so this is just
Yep,
a mechanism for mocking out that that
yep,
value.
yep.
And not just in tests, but also in stories. And I think that's actually quite important that like that's also something that you want to support. Because I'm not sure whether Storybook supports module mocking. Maybe they've got something like that. It's been a long time since I've
Mhm,
used it, but
mhm.
last time I used it, they did not. And so this was really actually the only way to do what you're trying to do. And so... yeah, here are my thoughts around that. I try to avoid mocking things in general, and I really there are only a couple of situations where I will mock things, and I talk about it. You've probably seen this blog post, but um, the merits of mocking. These are a couple of situations where I feel like it's useful for people to mock. So let's see. Time and place for mocking. Let me. Oh, you know what? I don't actually explain what those are in this blog post. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here we go. So UI and integration tests. I never make actual network calls. So I'm mocking the network calls. That's one place where I make a mock. There was another. It's the animation. Yeah, here we go. I also mock animations. I try to avoid mocking anything for end-to-end tests, except for like credit cards and stuff.
Mhm.
And actually, if I'm being honest, even for end-to-end tests, I prefer to mock things that I don't own. So there's a line there. Like if I have services that I maintain myself, then I would like my end-to-end tests to actually hit those services. But if I have third-party services like OAuth with Google or something, then I'm going to mock those even in end-to-end tests because it is I don't have any control over it anyway, and it's too unreliable to go through that. And they've got automation blocking and stuff anyway. So, so yeah, in general I avoid mocking as much as possible. I'm gonna stick this link in the in our office hours chat here. So for your situation specifically, I think I would need to understand a little bit more about why it's important for you to mock out the particular module. If it's related to making HTTP calls, then I would just use MSW. Man, I have no idea where that was.
Yep, yep.
But yeah, so if it's just HTTP, you know what? I should have grabbed a link to that because now I'm going to be wondering, like, people are going to look at this and want to look at details, and I don't feel like I'm going to
Can
find
we
it.
search for my name? Probably that might
Yeah,
help.
that might be a little faster. But now I'm too far in, and now I've got to.
Yeah, I think it's just above this.
Yeah, here
Yeah,
we go.
and link to the actual
Right.
message. Yeah.
Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna
Yep,
grab
yep, yep.
a link. Copy link, copy link. There we go. Okay, now I can at least have some continuity. So, um, anyway, my short response to that is to question it. So, can you give me more details on what it is specifically that you're mocking?
Hmm. Yeah, so we agree with the MSW part as well. So we use that heavily to mock the API responses. But the idea here is becoming that sometimes we have very complex components, or let's say very complex hooks, right, which have like dependencies internally on multiple different hooks. Let's say there's a hook use XYZ, and then it calls like use X, use Y, and use Z inside it, right? So as someone who is writing that, like looking at the component for the first time, or like if I want to test that component, right? If we go through like a vmock route or something, all right, there can be like n number of things within that hook, right? Which can cause it to behave in a certain way, or the output will be certain way. And the thing is that we want to be able to test the granularity of whatever the bugs that come in, right? So if something is broken in a particular combination, it becomes very hard to like reproduce that or do a test for it when we actually do it through the method of, let's say, end to end, or let's say through an integration test, because achieving that kind of thing becomes hard because you are not able to set granular stuff, right? One of the ways is obviously what we usually use right now is to do the vmock and basically inject the script or something like that. But then it doesn't give the clear idea to the one, let's say a new developer or something, that what part of this is something that we want to change, right? Or we want to swap. So whereas now with this context thing, it gives us two to three different benefits. One is that you kind of externalize the API for your like a public API for your hook, even though you are not exposing it, but you are telling it that my hook is kind of dependent on these like the three different things, right? And you can mock these three different things to test in different combinations. And let's say if there's a new use A or use B tomorrow coming, we can decide on whether that needs to be contributed to be tested or not tested or something like that, right? So the idea is that being having the type safety coming from mocking, because it will ensure or like force us to keep the types of the mocks that we are putting in, because we are sending it through the context. And anytime there is a change, or let's say a change in the file structure or folder structure, right? A lot of times our tests break because we were mocking the paths or something like that, right? But in this case, since we have brought that responsibility towards the actual code, so in case you make any changes into the types or introduce something new, it will be taken care of on that end itself. So that has been the idea, that because it's very hard to test changes in different scenarios and with multiple combinations. So that's what we were thinking to achieve here. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
that's it's actually really interesting, I I th- I understand the value of what you're doing over using module mocking, especially when we talk about supporting that in Storybook as well. Um, I think like honestly, I think it's fine.
Mhm.
The my biggest issue is with the test. Like, you could actually continue doing what you're doing, um, for like, I don't know. It's the problem that I have is when you say, well, it's really difficult to test these different edge cases. My concern
Mhm.
is that you could make it so that you're testing something that is impossible to happen, and that like by itself is not too bad. But what can happen is you can test something, and then and that is possible to happen. Like you manually test it, now you're testing it with an automation,
Mhm.
and then somebody later comes down the line and like let's say that you've got to do a series of steps to get the component into this state, right? That's what we're talking about. So
Mhm.
somebody breaks something in that series of steps, so now it's impossible to get to that point. But now your
Mhm.
test is saying that that works fine, but it's actually impossible to get there in the first place. And so even though like it may require a bunch of like setup to get to a point where you can test this sort of interaction, there's actually some value in getting that setup, getting to that place. Um,
Okay.
now, uh, as a counter to that, with end-to-end testing, I say that like you want to test your login, and then for all of your other tests, you don't actually go through the login flow. Like you like do that through code, get the cookie set or whatever, and then you can proceed. So because you want to avoid over testing, and every single test breaks when the login flow breaks, and now you don't know what's
Mhm.
broken. It's a pain. So
Mhm.
like take that with a grain of salt.
Okay.
Like you could say, okay, well that's fine. We'll keep our mocking, but then we'll also have one test that just gets you through that flow. So now we're
True.
covered, and like
Yep. Yep.
from there,
Yep.
I think you're fine. So that's just
Okay.
something
Yeah.
to think about.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So we had this idea like we would like to, because end-to-end covers most of the user behavior testing, like closest to how the user would interact with the apps. But then in case we comes into bugs and come into issues which are hard to like reproduce, or let's say causes with different combinations, there we can like use this type of testing. And my major concern with this was only that a lot of things are already achievable through VMock or what we are trying to do over here. But then it comes with its own downsides, right? And this felt like, okay, this can be an alternative approach where we can like try to push that you can use this as well, not like as a mandate, but like like an alternative, that
Yeah.
this is a good thing as well. So that is where we thought we would come in here from.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I think it's a pretty reasonable approach. Of course, it only works with React code. So if there's another
Mhm.
module that is importing that module, now you've got to go with VMock instead. But
Mhm.
but yeah,
Mhm.
I think it's a fine approach for that sort of thing. The other thing that I would suggest is, or like a concern that I have is that once you start doing this, then developers who are not familiar with the patterns and things will just start applying that pattern everywhere, and then it just
Everywhere.
adds more complexity than is necessary.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to advise you to avoid that problem,
Mhm.
but that will happen. So you've just got to think about like how you train around this and
Mhm. Yeah.
explain why it's done this way. But honestly, it doesn't add a whole lot of complexity to the code anyway, because like all of that stuff is kind of managed in this module, and people are
Mhm.
just importing the hook and using it, and they don't have to worry about like a provider or anything like that. So
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
yeah, I'm not too concerned about that. And as far as like performance characteristics go and stuff, like I don't think that it's going to be a problem in that way either. So
Amazing. Yep. Yep.
yeah. Um,
Yep. That sounds
I guess
about
you've been
right.
doing
Yeah.
it for a couple weeks now, and things seem to
Yeah.
be going pretty well.
Yeah, yeah. So we have tested it on, I think, pushing it out as an experimental push, and yeah, I think the right as you rightly pointed out, right, that we might run into the patterns where it can be abused also, or like be used in a different way. But yeah, that is what we will keep in mind, and I think with more and more experimentation, we will come in to know that if there are any other flaws to this idea as well. But yeah, I think for now I've gotten your answer. What I really wanted to know from you as well. Yeah,
Good, good. Thank you for asking.
great.
It's an interesting, fun thing to think about.
Absolutely. Thank you
uh,
so much for your time. Yeah,
yep. See ya.
great.
Okay, let's take a look at the rest of these. So, I just want to make sure that I don't miss anything here. I think this is the next one. Oh no, I got to that one last time. Yeah, there's my stream. I think, yeah, this must be Neo. Oh, yep, and we talked about that. Okay, good. Aleph asked this yesterday, and answering this now. So, can you do a little demo of how to add icons to the Epic stack? Also, okay, well, let's do the demo first. Here, actually, media RSS. I made an example the other day. Yeah, let's add it to the example. Stripe. Oh, you know what? Stripe with Stripe. There we go. So let me clone this guy. And actually, you know what? We also have docs on this. So I'll pull those up as well. Icons right here. And I'm going to stick a link to that right there. So we use CLI to add icons. We have it configured. Where's my? Do I have this? There we go. Whoops. All right. So if we look for our sly.json, we have it configured to pull in radix icons. Yeah, that can go away. That's fine. And it also runs this transform icon TS file. So transform icon. And what this does is it adds the necessary license info. But then it also runs the build icons, which makes... so what Slide does is it takes the SVG, sticks it in here, and then build icons is this right here, which is going to take, I guess I got to install dependencies, is going to take this, directory and turn it into a sprite sheet. That's what it does. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So if we just say npx sly add, then it's configured to pull in radix UI icon. So I'm going to do hit that one, and then we're going to look for, let's see, money, no, bill, no, okay. We need something that would represent Stripe. One problem is radix icons are actually kind of limited. There's not a lot of them. Radix UI icons. Actually, I wonder if they've got a Stripe. No. Okay, how about cache, register? There's got to be something. Yeah, that's all there is actually, isn't there? We should probably use a different icon library. Sly also has support for other icon libraries. So here, let's just try that. Configure libraries. We've got, oh, that's kind of fun. Material, or yeah, Lucide. don't know how to say that. Remix icon. Oh, that's interesting. Simple icons. Hey, let's go with simple icons. We'll just use the stripe one, just for the fun of it. The directory for simple icons. I guess we'll just go with that. Yes, and then we're gonna update the settings manually here. There we go. There we go, and there we go. Okay, cool. Now let's try add from simple icons stripe. Boom. Let's see what happens. Yes, I'm ready to install. Installed. All right, let's see what happened. Simple icons stripe. Okay, we actually, I didn't read that carefully enough. We want SVG icons. And let's just do it again, just to have it be complete. Did I, npx add. Let's try that again. Simple icon stripe. Yes, installed. And now we get our stripe SVG. We got downloaded. Here's the license, all that stuff. So that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. And then if we look at where did the sprite sheet go? I actually can't remember where it goes. I think it's in, yeah, components, UI, icons, sprite. There it is. And we can find stripe right here. There it is, beautiful. And name, it sticks in stripe right here. And so now I can go to my subscription, manage subscription profile, subscription, and call this stripe. Oops. Oh, I just added a new hotkey, and it overwrote this hotkey that I like to use, so I'm going to have to fix that. Here, let's run generate the types so that isn't mad. And icon. Where am I? Yeah, icon. Subscription. Link to, here it is. That's what I was looking for. Stripe. All right. Now we'll run the dev server. I've got just a minute left. Oh, whoops. Run the setup. There we go. That will run the build and generate our, oh man, copy env example to env. Try it one more time. And then we can run the dev server. I just want to see the icon. There we go. And pop it open. And we're going to go to login. We'll log in with GitHub because that's, oh, it's supposed to be mocked, except I didn't reset the database, but whatever, that's fine. I agree. Go ahead. And then profile, edit profile. Woo, there it is, manage subscription. Ta-da! So we've got our icon. So that's how that works. That's the process of adding an icon. So like the typical process when you have like an actual Epic Stack site already set up and everything is npx add, and then you say, okay, I don't know why this is taking so long. Okay, whoa. Do we, oh, you know what? I have it globally installed maybe? Or hold on, Sly. Oh, man, I had no idea we were so far behind. I thought that I updated this a lot, but okay. Maybe he's done a lot of work recently. Simple icons, and then you can, yeah, 1Password. And then you install it, and that's it, and you're done. So once you have it all set up, it's actually quite nice. So now actually I don't want to have 1Password in here, so we're going to delete 1Password. We're going to npm run build icons, and yeah, I'm gonna, I don't want to fix this right now, so fixtures, open, and uploaded, and yep, Add stripe icon. Okay, cool. So that's it. I've got to go this very moment. So thanks everybody for joining. Aaron C. Light theme. My eyes. All the geniuses use light mode. It's the light is good for our eyes. Just kidding. Okay, great. This was good. Thanks everybody for joining. I think I actually got all the questions that were in the Discord as well as in the Zoom. So, and I don't see any chat questions either. So this works out nice. I'm going to take off. Thanks everybody. We'll see you in a future office hours, which is not next week because I'll be in Greece. So week after. See ya.